Be still for a moment and listen to the softest place inside your breath. In that inner quiet where the day loosens its grip, let this truth arrive like morning light slipping under the door. You are more than your fears. Not because fear is imaginary. Fear is real, and its weather can be hard. But because I am more real than the weather, and I have named you by something stronger than trembling. Your pulse is not a drum for panic. It is a metronome for hope. When you feel the familiar rush, when your chest tightens and your thoughts try to sprint, come back to the gentleness that does not scold you for being human. Come back to the one who holds you steady while the wind makes its case. You have learned to mistake adrenaline for urgency and silence for absence. But I am not absent in silence. I am articulating mercy in a language the storm cannot counterfeit. Fear tells a convincing story about the worst that could happen. I tell an older story about the goodness that has already carried you. You are not standing at the edge of a cliff with no handrail. You are standing in a field I have fenced with promises, a field where trust grows in rows, where every step you take becomes seed, and every faithful breath becomes rain. I am not asking you to pretend the valley is a balcony. I am teaching you how to walk it without losing your name. Consider the pattern of your days. Notice how often fear arrives dressed as responsibility, as if worry were the price of love. Worry is not love's proof. Presence is. I am present. I am nearer than your own urgency, kinder than your harshest inner guard, steadier than the outcomes you try to manage. You are allowed to breathe slowly in the middle of real deadlines and real disappointments. You are allowed to choose the next faithful step over the next frantic thought. Let your attention become a sanctuary where truth can sit without being shouted down. You ask for courage as if it were a lightning strike. Sometimes courage is a quiet ember kept under cupped hands. You keep it alive with small obediences. The message you send, the apology you make, the boundary you keep, the rest you honor even when productivity demands a sacrifice. Fear tells you that you must outrun it. Wisdom teaches you to outlast it. Stay. Breathe. Let the panic wave pass through you like wind through a wheat field. The wheat does not uproot itself when the gust comes. It bows and rises again. So will you. So have you. I will not shame you for the nights you replay conversations, for the mornings when dread greets you before coffee. I will meet you there. I will sit with you long enough for your thoughts to slow to a human pace. I will remind you that the future is not an avalanche but a path, and paths are walked. One step, one decision, one prayer. By hearts that learn to trust the lamp rather than demand the sun. Even if your knees shake, your yes can still be steady. Let us tell the truth about fear. It is persuasive. It offers 1,000 ifs and demands you solve them all before breakfast. But fear is also profoundly uncreative. It repeats the same script with different costumes. Pay attention and you will hear its recycled lines. Too late, not enough. What if it fails? What if you look foolish? I answer each with a better word: redeemed time, sufficient grace, formation through outcomes, dignity and obedience. You are more than your fears because you are held by more than your feelings. Remember how far you have already come. Remember the edge you thought would break you that became a threshold instead. Remember the closed door that turned you toward a better way. Remember the night you could not sleep and still rose to kindness. These are not small footnotes, they are monuments. Stack them like stones in your memory until they form an altar strong enough to steady today's hands. Let gratitude mortar those stones. Let testimony teach your pulse a slower song. You do not need to exile fear before you begin. Begin while it watches. Begin while it argues. Begin because love asked you to, and love is a better guide. Practice the small brave that builds the large brave. Make the call. Send the application. Forgive the one who won't deserve it tomorrow any more than they do today. Tell the truth without excess. Your identity is not written by what scares you. Your identity is written by the one who calls you beloved, while you are still learning not to flinch at the word. Some of your fear is learned from rooms where love was rationed and approval was loudest when you performed. You are unlearning that economy. In my kingdom, worth is not earned by exhaustion. It is received, and then it fuels good work that does not hollow you out. You can lay down the armor that kept you from being pierced, and also kept you from being held. I will not wound the place you finally uncover. I will teach your shoulders how to rest while your hands remain faithful. Right here, in the quiet middle, let me ask something simple. If these words steady your breath or bring light to your path, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your single thoughtful act helps this whisper find the next weary heart, and together our small obediences will travel farther than fear. Return with me to the window of your own soul. See how dawn does not argue with the night, it simply arrives. So does peace when you choose it again and again. Peace is not passive, it is a discipline that arranges your attention according to what is true. You will not always feel brave, but you can always act beloved. And beloved people do brave things without turning themselves into machines. Let gentleness be your strategy and integrity your strength. Let patience carry you through the hours when hurry shouts that you are behind. Fear often attaches itself to what you care about most. That is why your love feels endangered. But love is not fragile the way your anxious mind imagines. Love has survived centuries and floods and graves. It survives your doubt as surely as spring outlives winter. If you guard your heart with cynicism, you will starve it of joy. Guard it instead with wisdom, boundaries that welcome truth and keep out the loud lies. Guard it with gratitude, an inventory of mercies that fear cannot argue down. Guard it with community, the stubborn presence of friends who refuse to let your storms name you. I am not interested in your performance. I am committed to your becoming. Becoming is slower than applause would prefer, and truer than your vanity might choose. It happens in kitchens and commutes, in the honest no and the unglamorous yes. It happens when you name what hurts without making pain your identity. It happens when you rest without calling it laziness, when you work without calling it salvation. In this slow becoming, fear loses its power because it cannot pace itself for the long run. It burns fast and fades. Love keeps walking. You have permission to be unfinished while still being faithful. You have permission to carry questions and keep your promises. Do not wait to feel invincible before you bless the room you are in. Bless it now, with presence, with listening, with a courage that looks like kindness. Cynicism is clever but barren. Hope is humble but fertile. Plant it. Water it with action. Let the small harvest train your eyes for the larger ones. There will be days when your mind rehearses disaster and your body believes it. Invite your body to a truer rehearsal. Slow your breathing. Unclench your jaw. Put both feet on the ground and notice that the ground is still there. Tell your nervous system something it can trust. We are safe in this moment. We are loved in this moment. We have a next step in this moment. Then take that step and let obedience be the therapy that worry could never provide. Learn to measure progress with sacred metrics. Were you faithful when no one was watching? Did you tell the truth when it cost you? Did you choose gentleness when sarcasm offered easy power? These are the measures that build a life you can live with. They are not loud, but they are durable. And durability, soul durability, is how fear loses the right to narrate your story. You are not the sum of your alarms. You are the image bearer learning to breathe in a world that profits from your hurry. I do not profit from you. I invest in you. I invest patience when you fail, wisdom when you ask, mercy when you run out of your own. You call that weakness. I call it the door where my strength enters without breaking the frame. I am not disappointed in your humanity. I have chosen to dwell within it. Look back with gentleness. See the younger you who did not yet know how to stay. Bless them for surviving. See the present you who shows up anyway. Bless them for persisting. See the future you who will thank you for the boundaries you drew, the rest you honored, the truth you told. This is how courage travels through time, by decisions that look small today and become shelter tomorrow. Keep building that shelter. Keep leaving the light on for the hours when fear comes home and finds no vacancy. And when fear arrives again, as it will, because you are alive and your heart is open, remember the refrain we placed like a hand over your chest. You are more than your fears. You are more than the tremor in your hands and the noise in your head. You are loved beyond your worst prediction and called beyond your best performance. You are accompanied by a presence that does not withdraw when the thunder speaks. You are becoming someone who can walk through weather with a lamp bright enough for two, and sometimes for many. So take the next faithful step. Let peace be the practice you return to, and truth be the roof you stand under. Choose the slower word that heals over the quick one that wounds. Choose the generous interpretation when envy crouches. Choose the boundary that honors your worth and the rest that honors your design.